we forgive other people. Bas karamihan nga, ang mga partners nyo, marami na nagagawang mali at kasalanan, pero pinapatawad nyo sila. You are kind to them, you forgive them. Kahit na nagkakamali sila. Kasi sinasabi natin na tao lang. Diyos nga nagpapatawad. We all have all these sayings about forgiveness, but we don't actually apply it to ourselves. Welcome to Small Talk, small conversations with huge impact. My name is Alec and I'm your host for this show. I've always been the host of this show. But yeah, welcome to the show. If this is your first time listening to the show, then welcome. I hope that you enjoyed this episode and you gain a lot of insights from this episode and you continue to join us in our journey of self-improvement. So I really appreciate you being here and I hope you enjoy your stay. And for the people who are listening again, welcome back. How are you? I hope you're doing fine though. It's been a crazy time with all of the shit that's happening in our lives, but you are here again. That means you're dedicated in improving yourself, and that means a lot. That says a lot about you, and I hope that you continue to do that because we only get better if we take these small steps. So if you're listening to this, that means you're adding information, you're seeking out new info in life, and that will play a huge role in your improvement, in your development. So again, thank you, and I appreciate each and every one of you listening here right now. And I just want to send my huge love and appreciation to the people who are sending me messages on Instagram on Small Talk at Small Talk Podcasts. I read all of your messages. I'm really sorry if I hadn't been very responsive on Instagram because as you may have noticed, I haven't posted any episode for the past 2 weeks actually. It's because I was focusing on creating content on TikTok. And TikTok has been amazing because the reach that I've been able to pull off on TikTok was so huge. Like, I didn't expect to reach 50,000 followers on my first month. I'm not even in my first month. It's just been 2 weeks since I created that account, and it grew from 0 to 50,000 followers. And a few of my videos went viral, and even on Facebook, I got like 1 million views on Facebook, almost 50,000 shares on Facebook. And that is huge. So for everyone who, saw the video, shared the video, liked, commented on the video, thank you. It really is something. And so again, I'm really sorry if I hadn't been that much responsive to you guys, but I'll get back to the people who have sending their love on Instagram. Syempre nauna pa rin ng mga Instagram people ko. So if you're on Instagram and you share this podcast, thank you so much. So yeah, but if you want to follow me for daily motivational videos, I post them on Instagram as well. But if you want to see the main videos that I make, it's on TikTok. It's at Small Talk Podcast. You can download TikTok right now. Before, TikTok was like the place where you post your lip sync or your dance moves, but there are actually a lot of things to learn on TikTok. So I suggest you hop on it. If you're starting businessman, if you have a brand, if you just want to learn about things, then I really implore you to explore the land of TikTok, and hopefully may matutunan ka and may makuha ka rin doon. So for today's episode, we are going to talk about one very hot topic that's, I think, almost that's been consistently been requested on the comment section of my videos. It's about insecurities. And I don't know if you listened to the previous episode, which by the way it's a secret episode. So if you listen to that, I guess it's not so secret anymore. But yeah, it's a kind of rant I did because I had a breakdown, because this might not sound this might not sound like a really viable thing, but I just had a breakdown, and it was because my insecurities piled up. My insecurities blew up. right? And a lot of you people thinking, huh, wait, you have insecurities? That's the thing. That's the first thing that I want you to understand. Everybody, and I mean every single one, has insecurities. Some people are just better hiding it, some people are just better at managing it, but every single one of us has insecurities. So, with that, you just need to understand that it's normal to have insecurities. Because I just had one, and I broke down yesterday because I had one. And that's what I want you to understand first. So it's very important to understand that insecurity is very normal, and we need to understand. So the next question that we want to ask is, why are we having these insecurities? So the first thing that I've noticed, the common denominator from among all the people who have insecurities, basically everyone, is insecurities happen because of two reasons. Number one, it's because of the story that we tell ourselves. It's because of the story that we repeat in our heads. It's because of the thoughts that we keep on replaying over and over and over in our minds. And we become insecure because the story that we tell in our minds are negative thoughts. When we're insecure, we focus on the things that we lack. We focus on the things that we don't have. How many times have you said this to yourself? I'm not enough. I don't think I can do it. I don't think I can manage. Can I do it? Am I enough? Am I strong enough? Am I beautiful? I'm not that pretty. I'm not that smart. I'm not that talented. I'm not hardworking at all. I'm not that unique. I am so weird. I am so weak. I am so petty. I am so stubborn. I'm so stupid. Right? How many times have we told that to ourselves? And if we keep on repeating those thoughts on ourselves, yun ang i-accept na reality ng katawan natin. Yun ang i-accept na reality ng utak natin. Even though that's just a part of the experience that we experienced, we made it feel like that's our life, that's our story. Right? Even though it's just a prompt reaction from an experience that we had, we feel like that's the truth. That's the reality that we're having. We're stupid. We're not rich. We're poor. We're stubborn. We're all of these stuff. We're not enough. Because that's the thought that we keep on playing in our minds. And that's the same with positive thoughts, right? If we keep on repeating those thoughts like I am enough, I am cared for, then our insecurities will go away. But insecurities happen because we focus on the things that we do not have. We focus on the things that we lack. We focus on the things that we are struggling with. We focus on the things that are negative about us. But the thing is, everybody has their flaws. Everybody has their imperfections. And we become insecure if we focus on just that. If we become fixated on our fears, our doubts, our questions. That's the number one reason why I think people are insecure. Now, the number two reason why I think people are insecure is because we let other people's metrics, other people's values in life become ours. Kahit hindi naman yun yung pinaniniwalaan natin. So, for example, sa ibang tao, pera ang mahalaga. So, pag tayo, nakita natin, ay wala tayong pera, we might feel worthless, or we might feel less. We might feel that our value is less from other people kasi tayo wala tayong pera. Pero in reality, you don't really give a shit about money, right? That's not your values. That's not what your priorities. Other people, they're pretty, they're sexy, and we feel na okay, I'm not that sexy. I don't have any abs. When in the first place, you don't really care if you have abs or anything, but you're too focused living someone else's life, living on someone else's terms and conditions, living on someone else's stories. You focus on being something that is not actually you. The thing that we need to understand is people have their own pace, people have their own story, and that's them. We have our own. We have our own values, we have our own principles, we have our own metrics in life. And that's what we need to always remember. right? If they feel that they need to have those things, that doesn't mean that we need to have those things. It's very important that we keep to ourselves, that we become truthful in what we actually care about, and we try to live with those things in mind. So basically what I'm saying is, you want to be better for yourself. Don't be better because you want to match someone else's level. Don't be better because you want to match someone else's salary, someone else's job, someone else's look. If you want to be better for yourself. Because if you keep on living because of other people's metrics, you're always going to feel insecure about yourself. And those are the main reason why I think people are insecure. And if you get the point of this whole podcast episode, you can now skip to the next episode. Thank you so much if you do that. But yeah, if you're not still convinced, and if you're looking for additional ways for you to deal with your insecurities, then continue listening. So now we're going to talk about 5 ways to deal with your insecurities. And this is the things that I always remind myself every time I feel insecure. This might work for some of you. This might not work for some of you. Some of this might work for some of you. Some of this won't. But it's very important that we keep open mind, so that maybe we could find just even one thing that we could apply into our lives and help us with our insecurities. That's all I want. Just even one thing. So I don't expect you to do all of these things, but if you keep doing all of these things, eventually tutulungan mo yung sarili mo na mag-adjust, find a way to deal with your insecurities. So let's start with number 1. Number 1 is stop judging yourself. One thing that I would like to remind you is you need to be kind to yourself. One thing that I've learned is that everyone has flaws, right? Everyone has imperfections. But there are people who love us. And why is that? Even though we're imperfect, even though we have a lot of flaws, people love us. Why? Do they love us because of the positive things that we give them? Do they love us because of the advantages that we give them? No. They love us even though they saw that we had a lot of imperfections. They love us because they saw a lot of flaws and they didn't give a shit about it. So if they can accept all of our imperfections, then why can't we do that to ourselves? Why do we need to be hard on ourselves? Why do we need to punish ourselves for our imperfections, our flaws? One thing that we need to practice is to become kind to ourselves. We do it to other people. We forgive other people. Bas, karamihan nga, ang mga partners nyo, marami na nagagawang mali at kasalanan, pero pinapatawad nyo sila. You are kind to them. You forgive them. Kahit na nagkakamali sila. Kasi sinasabi natin na tao lang. Diyos nga nagpapatawad. We all have all these sayings about forgiveness, but we don't actually apply it to ourselves. We need to forgive ourselves. We need to be kind to ourselves and stop judging ourselves for our imperfections, for our flaws, for the things na mga pagkukulang natin. We need to stop judging ourselves. Because everybody, and I mean everybody, is a work in progress. The only time that you can say that you can judge yourself is pag patay ka na. Then you can judge your whole life. I don't know if you could possibly do that, but that's the only rational time that you should judge yourself. I'm not saying that you shouldn't be a critic of yourself. Always, look for some ways to improve yourself, but don't be too harsh on yourself. Forgive yourself from your flaws and stop judging yourself. Number 2, stop judging other people. Okay, you stop judging yourself, and now you gotta stop judging other people. Why? Because as I've said earlier, they have their own stories, and every single time that we judge other people, we always try to compare that to our lives. Always. When we're judging them, it's because we're projecting our values, our metrics, our principles to their lives. We judge people, okay, tignan mo siya sa paka-rebelde niya o hindi siya nag-aaral. It's because we feel that education is important. Ay, tignan mo, kawawa siya, wala siyang pera. We judge other people because we feel that money is important, right? When we judge other people, it's because we're projecting our truth in their lives, when in fact, they have their own lives. And if you are busy in trying to judge other people, you won't have time. You're actually deflecting your attention from dealing with your own shit, because it's so much easier to judge other people than to actually look at your own shit and deal with them, right? So the next time that you find yourself judging other people, that means you're not spending your time properly. That means you're spending your time in something that will not benefit you, that will not give you an advantage, that will not help you with improving yourself, right? So that's the thing. We need to stop judging other people, because di natin napapansin, bumabalik yun sa atin. And sayang yung oras na binibigay natin when we judge other people. That's the second part. That's the second thing. Now, the third thing is we need to stop aiming for perfection. Okay, I read a quote from, I think it was from a pastor. So I'm not sure who said it, but if you do, let me know. And I'm going to rephrase it, but he said, I think it was the reason we have insecurities, or the reason we struggle with insecurity, is because we compare our behind the scenes with everyone else's highlight reel. We judge ourselves by judging other people. We compare our lives, and when in fact we don't actually know his story, and they don't actually know our story, but we always try to compare them. It's just a waste of space, waste of time. So that's one thing that you need to drop. Stop judging yourself and stop judging others. Stop comparing yourself to other people. And you can do that by not judging other people. That's the second thing. The third thing is stop aiming for perfection. Social media has put it into our minds that most of the times when we ask ourselves, what do we want? We want to be happy. What does happy look like? And most of the time, most of you imagine a life that you see on social media. You travel all around the world like travel bloggers or travel vloggers. You become, I'm happy if I'm very, very pretty, if I just look like the influencers that I admire, the artists that I look up to. When I ask you, what does happy look like? You say, we have a lot of money, like the ones that we see on Instagram flexing their sports cars and their mansions and all of their like luxuries and shit. Social media is a compilation of highlight reels. I'm not saying they're not true. They're true. But social media has made us into thinking that the world is glam and glitter, is about reaching a certain point where everything is perfect, where there is no struggle. And social media has showed us that if we got these things, we're perfect. Wala tayong problema. And we try to raise those stuff. But if we're totally being realistic, the things that we see on social media are not perfect. So we need to stop wanting to be like the things that we see on social media. I'm not saying that you shouldn't have those things. If that's what you really want, then go reach for it. Go try to work hard for it. Go work hard for it. But one thing that I would like to remind you is that every single person who is successful and happy on social media, they have a lot of insecurities as well. They have a lot of problems as well. Problems, they don't disappear. they just problems just nanganganak ang problema nanganganak yan, but we actually improve our level of problems, and the level of problems that we have defines where we are in life. So yeah, instead of trying to reach a certain kind of perfection, we try to aim for progress. We gotta understand that life is really messy, but that's okay. We just gotta understand that we don't aim to be a perfect straight line, but we can always try to be straighter than how we were from yesterday. We always try to be a better version of ourselves compared to yesterday, to ourselves from yesterday. And that's what we need to aim. Aim for progress, not for perfection. Stop trying to admire people because they have this, they have that. Everybody has problems. Everybody has insecurities. And if we believe that there is just this one picture of perfection, then we'll always feel insecure about ourselves. Because we may be able to reach those, but it's not as what we imagine it to be. Life is not what we hope it would be, right? Always, lagi yan. Pinaparamdam niya sa'yo na hindi ganito ang buhay, hindi sa ina-expect mo. Pero hindi yun pangit. Because it's what makes life exciting. Na hindi natin nakikita kung anong parating. Yung uncertainties, lagi na dyan. So we gotta just look out for progress. We don't need to aim for perfection. As long as we're one step closer to where we want to be, one step closer to the person who we want to become, that's all right. We gotta appreciate that. We gotta be thankful about that. Not actually making us crave for something perfect. As long as we're better from yesterday, that's a win. That's the thing that you need to remind yourself. I don't want to be perfect. I just want to be better. Okay, so number 4 is continuing from number 3. It's appreciate the small things around you. Every single day, we have small wins. And I believe that we should always celebrate the small wins because number 1, it helps us become more appreciative and more grateful for the things around us. And number 2, success and happiness is just a string of small successes. Happiness is just a string of small things that makes you happy. And every single one of us experience small wins in a day. For example, nakapagluto tayo, that's a win. Nakapaglinis tayo, that's a win. Nakapag-workout tayo, that's a win. Nakapagbasa tayo ng libro, nakapagsulat tayo, those are small wins. And we need to be proud of those. We need to become appreciative of the things that we positively do in life, the things that we accomplish positively. Right? We want to change your focus from replaying the thought na I am not enough, hindi ako ganun kagaling, hindi ako ganun ka talino, ganyan. Pero if we try to read a book, I read 10 pages of a book, you gotta appreciate that. You gotta appreciate the small things because when we're in a state of appreciating the small things, we are in a state of being grateful. And pag grateful tayo, hindi natin hinahanap kung ano yung kulang sa atin. Pag grateful tayo, hindi natin hinahanap kung anong wala sa atin. I'm not saying you to be just contented with what you are, but there's no harm in being grateful about the things that you have. And when you spend time being grateful, you won't have the time to be insecure. If you always thank the things that are around you, if you always thank the things that you have, then you won't focus. You won't spend your time thinking about the things that you don't have. Again, our realities are the thoughts that we constantly repeat in our heads. So if we appreciate the small things, yun ang mas maaalala ng utak natin. And mas ma-motivate tayo na kumilos at pagpatuloy yung ginagawa natin Kasi nakikita niya na the small things, that's what you're feeding your mind. Yun ang tatanggapin niya. Hindi mo na maaalala yung mga wala sa'yo, yung mga kulang sa'yo kasi nagpo-focus ka na sa mga bagay na meron ka. And that's what happens when you appreciate the small things. That's number 4. Appreciate small things. Number 5. Last one is number 5 is surround yourself with supportive people. One of the best ways to deal with your insecurities is to surround yourself with people who genuinely supports you. I know that's a lot harder than it seems, but this pays off hugely. This pays off immensely. Your support system will be crucial every time you experience relapse. Every time you feel insecure, every time you have that thought of not being enough, of not being because you'll always be reminded of the things that you don't have, the things that you lack. But if you have a support system that will cheer you up every single day, that will push you to become a better version of yourself, it becomes a lot easier for you. So create an environment where you prosper with the help of very supportive people around you. And I know, especially with our toxic Filipino culture, that our families and the friends that we have around us might not be the first option. But that's okay. Again, we focus on the things that we want, not focus on the things that we don't have. And we can't judge them for that. You know, if they're not supporting us, maybe they just have an image of us that's very different from what we are trying to achieve, right? But it's very important to know that if the people around you are not supporting you the way that you want it, that's okay. Because that's not important. You know what's important? I am 100% sure that there are people that you know that supports you all the way. So let's not focus on the people who don't support you, but focus on the people who support you all the way. Right? And that's one way to help you deal with your insecurities. Stop spending time with people who make you insecure. I'm not saying that to completely remove them in your life. That's probably impossible because most likely they're your family and friends. So I'm not asking you to remove them, but spend more time with people who does support you. Add more positive people in your life. Listen to more positive podcasts, positive content online. Because if we create an environment where we can fight off our insecurities one small step at a time, magulat na tayo one day, kaya natin i-handle yung insecurities natin all by ourselves. And that's the main goal, right? Being able to fight off insecurities, not being to throw away all of your insecurities, but find a way to be able to constantly fight off your insecurities. We need to find a way for us to manage our insecurities constantly. That's like the main goal, not remove our insecurities. That won't happen. It's practically impossible for us to remove all of our insecurities. But one way we could do that is if we could deal with it properly. And one huge way to do that is to create an environment. So spend time with people who support you. Spend less time with people who reminds you of your insecurities, because you're really trying your best in becoming a better version of yourself, and you don't want these people to ruin your progress. To spend time with people who adds and helps you and boosts you with your progress. Okay? So that's the 5th point. I hope that you've learned a thing or two on this podcast. So I hope that you guys appreciate this episode. I hope that you continue to share it on your IG stories. So if you're listening here right now, please share the episode on your IG stories, and don't forget to tag me at Small Talk Podcasts. And in case you didn't know, this podcast has reached, I think it ranked number 41 on Apple Podcasts here in the Philippines. All podcasts, not just education category anymore, not just self-improvement. all podcasts in Apple Podcasts. We are at number 41, and it's because of you guys, because you keep on sharing the podcast. So please continue to share them, continue to show your support, and also follow this account on TikTok. It's at Small Talk Podcast for you to be motivated, to be inspired, to be reminded of these lessons every single day. So please do that. So, and I will thank you forever. Again, this is Alec Cuenca, and I'm your host. This is Small Talk, small conversations with huge impact. I hope you have an amazing week ahead of you. Peace out.